I'm super excited about our guest today, Miss Tiona Wilson. We are going to be talking about all the things, talking about fashion, talking about the state of the young adult, which I'm very excited to get into. She's super talented, super creative. Look at the fit. I mean, it's saying all the things. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into everything. So welcome, Tiona.
Hi, guys.
Hey. So I got a couple of questions that I'm just going to walk through them, and then you know how we do, we just go with the flow and just work through everything. Mm-hmm. So first question for you, what inspires your look? Like, we can talk about what inspired your look today, and do you feel like society and their standards of fashion contributes to what we wear? So whichever one you want to start with.
Gotcha. So what inspires my look?
Yeah, so what inspired this today?
Well, you know, when it's a little gloomy outside, no, I was kidding.
Okay.
Bright colors always is able to put you like in a good mood. I think like style is just a form of like expression, but also it's kind of like a tool of controlling like your narrative. You know, it's like, you know how they say like when you look good, you feel good. Yeah. Like when you put on some bright colors, like that can change your mood. Like, or when you wear like a nice outfit, it kind of puts you in a different headspace. Like I just got dressed this morning, so like my day is going to align up with the power of me getting dressed. So that's kind of how like I use it as just a tool of life, really. You know, sometimes it's not even really about what you're wearing, but more so just about like how you want to present yourself and like how you want to control your day, and like take, you know, ownership, I guess you can say, of like how your day is flowing. So, yeah, so that's kind of like the inspiration of my look today. Really, I just like fill my closet with a lot of stuff that I like to wear, so it doesn't take a lot for me to get dressed. I can just be like, okay, I'm gonna just pull this out, boom, put this on, boom, and like it comes together. Like it's not a whole thought, because I really didn't like iron my clothes from this morning. I'm not gonna hold you.
See, I'm trying to be like you.
I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, whoop, there's a bright. I'm just put this on. Also, I'm not this may be not a good life thing, but I'm not a very punctual person either.
Okay.
And so, like, I got dressed in literally 10 minutes.
I love it.
So, yeah.
See? Yeah. That's not me. I literally, like, I'm complete opposite. Like, I have to plan the outfit because clothes stress me out. Trying to find the pieces, and then it takes me, I have to plan, like, maybe an hour and a half to get everything together. Yeah. It's a lot.
You know, I wish I could get there.
No, you don't want to.
I am the type of person that I can do everything in 30 minutes.
See, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I can't do it for real, though. That's why I be like,
okay.
But it's okay.
And there's that. Okay, cool. So now we know how you get your outfits and that type of thing. So do you feel like either society has influenced what you put on and others, or what do you feel that they contribute to when it comes to fashion?
I think society sometimes has an influence on people because, let's keep it real, sometimes people don't really know like who they truly are, and so like when you aren't comfortable with your authentic self, you're gonna follow like a group or like a majority thing, so that you can find some sort of like camaraderie or community to identify with. And so I think that influences like how people see fashion or how people get dressed, because it's like if this person is wearing it and this person is wearing it, then like if I wear it, then I'll be accepted by them. Yeah. And so I think that is how people sometimes find their style or their fashion or choose what they buy or wear, because it's like, okay, I'll put this on if everybody else is wearing it. Right. But I also think that goes into the deeper sense of what style is. Like I think style is an expressive tool. And so like in order to have good style, you have to know who you are first. Okay. You know, it's not really just like I know all the fashion trends, because I really, honestly, I'm not the type of person that I don't be on social media all the time. I actually don't like it as much as I used to because it's my job. But, you know, like I don't like go to find trends. Like I just do what naturally feels like right or feels good to me. And I'm just like expressing who I am, you know? And like the more you get in tune with who you are, the more easily it becomes to just like, I just woke up, you know, and just threw this on, you know, like I didn't think anything of it because this is who I am, like, and I'm in my body all the time, you know? Right, yeah. So yeah, I just think that style should be, at least, a tool of self-expression, and like, in order to really know how to express yourself, you have to know who you are as an individual, and like, your style could just be that that tool that shows people like, this is who I am before I even had an opportunity to like speak or tell you. So
I love what you said, like making sure that you know who you are, and that contributes to the things that you put on. I don't think people spend the time to do that. That's something, just a note off of that. That's something that I'm trying to do now. Like, I'm being very intentional about the pieces that I buy. And now I'm like, I'm not buying anything unless I love it, because I want to love everything in my closet. And I haven't. I've just been buying stuff like, oh, well, that's kind of cute and I can make it work. But I'm like, no, I want to love every single thing. So I love that, identifying who you are to be able to figure out what your style is. That's awesome. Okay, next question. So we talked about society. We talked about season what inspires a look. So is fashion subjective to cultural views?
It can be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if that is your source of like how you, I don't know
whatever you want to say.
I'm trying to think about like what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'll give you an example. So I don't know if you, well, probably because you're now on social media, but I know this morning I was looking at like Met Gala stuff.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw
it, yeah.
Yeah, and some of it I'm like, we are really just hyping up these celebrities over what they have on, and we're not going to wear anything near that at all. And so it's kind of like what they're putting on contributes to, one, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about what we're wearing, and I guess if we're keeping up with them, but I don't know. So I think that's where that question was kind of stemming from, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that oftentimes it can be subjective to culture, because like going back to just like that sense of like I have to identify with what's the greatest or what's the best or what's the most thing that's gonna give me status and stature.
Yeah.
I think for me, honestly, y'all, like at this point in my life, I don't even really care what nobody else can.
And that's beautiful. Stay there. That stay just like that.
Like,
yes.
And
yes.
not even on some like I don't care about what nobody thinks. I think that when you get lost in like yourself and like lost in what God is doing in your life, that like who cares what they are wearing at the Met Gala, like for real, like genuinely, like not even on some like I don't care, but I don't care and I don't have time to care. And I just like I have 63 other things.
Okay.
That, you know.
They're not doing nothing for me. They're not paying me for nothing. I'm just. It's cool, but it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And I think like for me, I think a lot of people think that I'm obsessed with fashion because I have good style. It's not. You know. Sorry to like break it to you. You know?
No.
But like I'm not so obsessed with fashion. Like I'm obsessed with self-expression and like people getting to their authentic selves. Like that is what empowers me. That's why I wake up in the morning. That is why I express myself. That's why I put green on today, because I want to be in a good mood. Like I want to reflect something that's positive, that has good energy. Like you know, that shows that I showed up today, even if I didn't feel like it, you know? So it's not necessarily about trends to me. Like, it's not really about what they're wearing at Met Gala, and it's not about the greatest brands. Like, it's just about expressing, like, who I am and getting, you know, to that core place, so.
And I think that's good stuff. Just hearing you say the authentic self, I think the reason why people, even including myself, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's super cute. And so the next time, oh, that's cute too. Like every time I see you, it's something cute. But I think we don't really see that often, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't see you dressed like other people, and I love that, right? But a lot of people don't see that, and I think that's why we're like, oh my gosh, she's so into fashion, she's so whatever, because we don't see it. So that's something that you exude, which I think is a positive thing, but it's cool to know that that's coming just from you just being authentic and wanting to have that expression. So moving from fashion and then just kind of talking about just kind of what you have today. So I love the Bantu knots. I love it, love it, love it. Same thing with I guess with the clothes as your hair expression, the same way you feel like that's just being authentic. Is it cultural? What do you think with that?
I mean, I think that a lot of influences, like, they start from what you see, you know? But I think that, like, the more that you navigate, like, who you are, it's just kind of like a, you know, like, this is me. Like, I don't know how to, like, explain it, but it's like, I mean, of course, like, culture had an influence on me wearing Bantu knots, you know? But also, like, at the greater identification factor, like I'm just a black woman who wants to express the power of who I am. So that's why I'm wearing it, not necessarily like, oh, because like, you know, does that make sense? Like,
yeah, for sure.
So it still stems from me expressing who I am. Does that make sense? Like, not trying to make the statement, but like being the statement, if that makes sense.
Right, and I love that. I think a lot of times black women, we are seen for our hair, right? Like how is it weaved? Is it relaxed? Is it natural? Like all the things, and sometimes just like we're just embracing all of it. I've had all of them, right? And so now I got locks, but I can't really. I could put weave, but it's doing a lot, right? But it's an expression of who I am. I'm not trying to make a statement. It's just I like it, and this is it. But I think we're seeing, I don't know for you, I'm usually seeing, especially for how my hair is now, the length of it and everything, that's the first thing people see is my hair, and they talk about that. And I've gotten the question, which made you start? Did you go on a spiritual journey? No, I just wanted to see what happened. Like that was it. Like people, sometimes it's not that deep. Like I love that it's identified with my culture, but that's not the main reason why I chose to do that. So yeah,
and I think it really is, like, I know a lot of people say like you wear, like your hair is a symbol of like your journey, and I think that it is, but like not in a way where I'm thinking about how do I represent my journey with my hair. Right. It's just like I am journeying through life, and this is what I identify with right now. This is what I'm wearing. This is how I'm expressing myself. Like it's just easy as 1, 2, 3. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like, oh, I have to do this hairstyle so people can do da da da. You know what I mean? And maybe it can be that way. Like maybe that subconsciously we do that. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just like
it's what it is.
It's cute.
You're right. So let's try it. Let's do it. Exactly. Yeah. So to wrap up fashion and hair and all those things, what's my question for you? What would you tell someone who's trying to find their authentic self, trying to dabble, maybe a little afraid to step out in whatever way that is, fashion-wise or hair-wise? What would you tell them to embrace and how to do that?
I would say embrace the silence. Like embrace the spaces of life where you have an opportunity to just sit with yourself. Okay. Because that's honestly where you're going to get any type of creative influence, whether that's style, whatever it is. Like you are, like when you tune out the noise, that's when you're able to actually hear your own sound, if that makes sense. And like, I know that sounds kind of deep because we're talking about clothes, but like it really, like style is a sound. Like it's just a tool of your voice that you're using to express yourself. And so when you get into the intimate part of who you are and you figure out what your sound is, then things start to, pan together. Like that's how you start to create music and like and melodies of like who you are. You know? Very imagery based.
I love it.
That's like how I, see things. But it's just like my advice to anybody who is looking for their authentic self is to find your sound in the silence. Period. Turn off the noise, and that's how you figure out who you are. Get comfortable with being with you. Because everything else is going to influence you if you're always listening to somebody else's sound.
That's so real.
Until you get in tune with your own voice, like you be dressing like everybody else.
For sure.
Yeah. You're doing what everybody else doing because that's their sound.
Right. So. Right. I love that, embracing the silence. I think a lot of people would benefit from doing that, and not just aspects of fashion, but just like you said, finding themselves and learning who they are. There's so much noise out there, even from some people close to you, not just the outside. And so taking that time, I think that's great. Good stuff, Tiona. Yes. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna migrate to a little segment that I entitled "The State of the Young Adult." And so let me just flip my little papers here. Okay. Okay, so I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. Do you feel that you were prepared to walk into adulthood?
Yes and no.
Okay, so why yes?
Yes, in a way where I do think that like I had an advantage of like my mom has really like walked me through things that sometimes like I feel like sometimes parents can just drop you off and be like, you can figure it out. Right. And I think that like I'm very appreciative that my mom has like held my hand through the journey, like not stifling me to the point where I don't have any like autonomy, like I can't think for myself, but like walking with me through the journey. So I think that some of the internal things that you deal with, that you fight through as a young adult, I feel like I was prepared because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else
is a no.
Nobody's prepared for real,
Right?
for real. Like through and through, like young adulthood, adult,
All of it.
the hood.
And that's it.
It's
For
ghetto,
real.
like-
It is ghetto. We were just talking about that.
Literally ghetto.
Yes, like this is not the same rent my mom and dad paid. Like I don't even know if they paid rent at this point. Like I'm dead serious. Like it's not the same.
Rent. It's just
Rent, bills, living, just
existing, feeding yourself.
going outside is a lot. Like if you want to go, do you know how much it is for me to go out?
And that's why I don't care what nobody
It's just-
care about what I'm wearing.
Right.
Because I need to eat. Like, I'm pressed about what.
And that's real.
And I'm hungry.
Right, I'm not paying for all these brands. I gotta eat tonight. I gotta eat for the whole week.
For
Let's
real.
talk about that.
Like, be
and
for
3
real.
times a day. So, because I need breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So,
Right.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what young adulthood will do to you. It'll
Yeah.
fix your focus. Real
Okay,
quick.
right?
So-
Yes. Yeah, it's real. It's real for sure. So, okay. For what you don't feel like you're prepared for, how are you working to get better in certain spaces in your life?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I'm never think about it. What am I doing? Praying. No, I'm just
I mean, and
help me.
That's every day. That's the one.
I think just like, well, one broad thing is like considering where I'm going. Because
Okay.
I think that like having a focus, like you're able to kind of like build like habits and like patterns in your life that kind of contribute or aid to your progression. Like if you don't know where you're going or you don't have a general idea
Right.
or like I guess a vision, you know, then like you just out here.
Right.
But I think that like having an idea of what I desire for myself and for my life and where I'm going, like gives me those like that leadway to have pointers. Like, okay, Tiona, like yes, there is food at the house because this is where you're going. So if you spend this much money on this, but you got this dream or this vision, then be for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like fixing your focus kind of helps you make those harder decisions, especially at like a young adult stage, because like you're still transitioning from like that idea of like maybe I did care a lot about what people thought about what I was wearing and where I was going and but now that can't matter because that was somebody else's dime.
Right.
This is your dime. What you gonna do with your dime?
Right.
It don't matter, you know?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like the habits and things that you build now are gonna be reflective of where you're going later. So if I care about later, then I gotta make some shake now, even if I don't want to. Or
Right.
it's uncomfortable. So
Yeah, and like you said, that's the state. That's like being a young adult, seeing that, realizing where you were, seeing where you are, and then preparing for where you want to be. So those steps for sure. Okay, next question, which we kind of talked about this a little bit. One of the major challenges of being a young adult now, and what's something that you're glad that you are experiencing?
major challenges.
Aside from bills, aside from the bills, because they real.
Aside from the fact that I'll never have no money.
And that part too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Big picture.
right.
What are my challenges? I think just navigating transitions
Okay.
and just resolving the fact that like there's really no state of having it together.
Yeah.
Like I think that like before at least or before you get to like young adulthood, like even in college, it's like you need to figure out what job you're gonna have. You need to figure out what this thing, like having some type of resolve. And like I have to work through that specific resolve and have this place in my life together at this time is challenging in itself. And so just coming with the grips of that, like that's unrealistic, like is the more challenging part. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
Yes.
So just like knowing that like you never gonna have it together.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so like you might as well enjoy the journey.
Right. I see the freedom in that now, though. You know, it used to stress me. Like, I don't know. I thought I knew what I was going to do. That didn't pan out, so now I don't know. And everybody seems, and once you start talking to enough people, whatever age, people are still trying to figure it out.
Yes.
So, yeah, I find a little solace in that. Like, oh, okay, so we're all just on the same journey.
Yeah, so just resolving that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
transitioning through that. And like,
Okay, and so what are you happy that you're experiencing now?
the the fruit of that.
Okay.
Like,
What does that look like?
freedom.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's a good word. Like, I think, like, when it just don't matter, like, there is, like, a level of internal freedom that you experience that it's just, like, it's very, like, I don't know how to describe it, but at least I go to sleep and I have peace at night type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so just knowing that, like, life is a journey, like, this may be cliche, like, there isn't a destination, like, literally just, like, allowing God to take you where He has and, like, what His plans are for you, and kind of just, like, letting your little dreams, you know, lay down because you don't see what He sees.
That's
it's
real.
like, it is freeing, like, it is. I'm not saying that, like, every single step of life is easy, but there is freedom with going with the wind. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
I love that. And it's funny, it's like when you were talking, I was thinking about just this image, like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but when I was younger, it'd always be like either my grandma or somebody older, like, oh my gosh, they say whatever they want to say, they do what they want to do, those types of things. And I think it's interesting that now it's like my generation, I think your generation, we're learning that very early. Like, we just don't. It's just, I don't have to be a certain way for you to accept me. I really don't care. Like, I got my people. I know who I am. And this is what it is. I'm happy. We don't have to be 70 plus, you know, to feel like that. So I think that's kind of cool that we're seeing that now.
yeah.
Okay. So I have another question about that, but I'm going to ask that at the end. I'm going to move on to something that I'm interested to get your insight on. And that is your dating life. And maybe not yours in particular, because that face just told me what I need to know. But just in general, how is that going for the young adult? How do you think, between you, your friends, and people around you, how is that life? Okay, great. Exclamation point at the end of that. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not obsessed with the conversation of dating because I am an old soul.
Okay.
I am like the oldest of the souls.
What does that mean?
I just like, I don't know how to like describe it. Like,
Okay.
I think that what I think about relationships is that the ultimate relationship really genuinely is the one that you have with yourself. And any other relationship that you put yourself in, even if it's just a friendship, is going to influence the relationship that you have with yourself. And so building your relationship with you first is the ideal way to do things, but not necessarily the way that things happen. And if I would say that to anybody that is my peer, they would try and like chew me up. Like,
But that's real.
but it's the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is the truth, man. Like, what am I supposed to say about it? Like,
I cannot. But what would they chew you up for? Like, what? I don't.
I think because it's like, because there's all these like be free and like figure out, you know, what you like and like
Oh, yeah, I don't get
those
that.
different
No,
types
we're
of
good.
things. And I
No.
just like, I just am like, if I'm going to be in a relationship where there's going to be trials and tribulations, like, I want to make sure that the one that I'm in is the one that aligns with who I am and where I'm going.
Yeah, that's
But
facts.
only way to figure that out
Is
is
to
to know who I am and where I'm going first. You know what I'm saying?
And that's beautiful. And I think it's wild that people don't see that. Yeah.
So
No, that's good.
I don't know. I just how I see it. That's why I say I'm also, because I'm just like, I don't really care what nobody else got going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here, and I'm like, my sail is in the air. I'm letting the wind, you know, take me where it's gonna take me, and whoever aligns is gonna come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think that's great, and that's so true, because I had a friend like that, and she was just like, she's a little younger than I am. She's like, yeah, I'm just trying to date and see what I like, whatever. I'm like, you don't got to date somebody to know what you like. Like, you kind of be around enough people, know who you are, know how you want to be treated, and it's very easy to weed out, a lot of people.
It's very easy, and sometimes, like, when you get locked in with you know, and Jesus, and people will weed themselves out.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Or he will for you.
like,
Real quick.
you don't even gotta do when you do the work in here.
Yes.
Like, you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. People will see that, like, oh, well, she's not really. Yeah, I'm really not. I'm not. Like, I don't got time for it. You can feel it. You can go ahead and just
Get somebody else.
get somebody else to do it because it ain't gonna be me, okay?
Period.
Because
No,
yeah,
that's
real. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I love that. I think that's like, excuse me. I think that's my journey too. So definitely on the vibe of the right person will come in a line. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I would just ultimately like wrap it up with saying like just figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like and like any journey that you walk through is gonna have its difficulties. I think that like you have an opportunity to choose which difficulty. Like there's difficulty that's gonna lead you to some fruit. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna have,
Yes.
And then there's difficulties that's gonna lead you to some not fruit. And you're gonna be eating fruit snacks and it's not healthy for you. So sometimes we want to eat the fruit snacks because they taste good and they're quick and it's like I can eat this now. But that's not gonna hold you over for your whole lifespan. Like be for real. So that's it. And I will say, because I think that sometimes I speak from a place of like, oh, like she's wise and confident. I'm not saying that I didn't struggle with that. And like I feel like at one point in time, because I carry wisdom, I felt like I had to prove myself to people, and so I tried to dim. But now, like, when I say I'm at a state of I don't care, it's not like, oh, I don't care. I just can't care because something else is in front of me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when you get that urgency inside of you, like, it just, like...
It changes things.
Yeah, it does. It changes everything. And so, like, yeah. Just do, I don't want to say do you, because you know how we feel when we say that. But like,
if they feel
figure
like that,
out
like that.
who you are, you know? Just figure out who you are.
No, I think that's good. That's a good gem right there for sure. And I don't think enough people do that. So that's great. Okay, so my last two questions. One, well, I'll just ask one first. For the rest of 2023, what are some goals that you have for yourself?
Oh, Jesus.
Or do you have any?
I do.
Okay.
Plenty. But you know, one thing about goals, when you start saying them, you gotta do that.
Yeah, right. We got the proof.
You gotta make them things shake.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Yeah. So I do have a couple of goals.
Okay.
I guess creatively, I have to get my voice out there. Like I'm gonna speak from a general, like I'm genuinely going through this right now, so we're gonna keep it hot on the Brit podcast today. But I think for me, like I just have to get like my voice out there. Like I have my own like creative ventures and projects that I've been sitting on.
Okay.
But I think the hardest thing as a creator is like I have to do this right. I gotta find my niche. I gotta do this. I gotta have this equipment. I gotta do
before
this
we do anything.
Before we do anything, and then we stay stagnant and like paralyzed for so long. And like the very thing that's inside of you could like literally save somebody else.
Facts. Yeah.
And so I think for me, my biggest goal is to just do the thing that's in front of me. Whatever way, whatever medium, just get it out.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So just being your accountability partner here, what does that look like for you? Like, what are those steps?
Yeah, so I'm starting a blog.
Yay!
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm nervous, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm starting a blog, so y'all can check that out. Maybe, you know, it'll probably be out by the time. Maybe.
Yeah, let us know. We'll make sure we announce it.
Yes, tionawilson.com.
Not whispering.
Oh my God! I look, I show my details.
I cannot with you. It's too much. It's too much.
Sorry, friends. But yeah, so I'm starting a blog, and basically it's just a diary of my journey.
Okay.
Like, I just feel like when it comes to like our journey, a lot of times people share their lessons after they go through them. And I think like the journey of authenticity is like inviting people to go along the journey with you. And so y'all can join my journey on my blog, because I'm going to talk about whatever is in my heart.
Okay.
And then also like your YouTube channel too. So stay tuned.
Yes. I love it. Okay, cool. So we got some things to look forward to, and definitely as soon as you get stuff going, we'll definitely put it up because I want people to be able to experience that with you and me included. So yes. So those are the goals. Last question for you: if your younger self was sitting where I'm sitting now,
Oh shit.
like what advice would you give her? What's something that you would want to share with her?
Yes. This is actually something I would think.
Okay.
So like, I would tell her a couple of things.
Okay.
But first thing that I thought of when you said that, I would say that this is your journey too. Like your voice matters also, because I think that like, especially when it comes to the state of young adulthood, I think that we forget to include that little girl's voice. And literally we know like she has all the influence and also, honestly sometimes the answers that we're looking for in order to move us forward in our young adulthood. And so I would just say like your voice also matters as much as mine, if not more, you know, because you're the one who's like really stirring this pot for real.
Okay.
For the two of us.
What is that? Just to not interrupt you, but what does that mean? Can you expound upon that? Like,
yeah. So I think that like, this is very spiritual.
Okay.
But I think that like sometimes like society teaches us to grow up so bad. Like you got to get to the next level. You got to do this. And I'm not saying that this is like an excuse for like not maturing. Like that's the difference. But there's still this part of you that's reserved to have like a childlike spirit. And I think we forget that childlike spirit and we just like abandon it. And then we wonder like why we're not getting what we desire or we're not getting the answers, because a lot of our power comes from that inner child voice.
Right.
You know, and that could look like a couple of things. That could look like some people ignoring and not healing the inner child. That could look like maybe the inner child dreams were like dismissed and like you're trying to figure out how do I make my dream come true, but you never went back to have the conversation with him or her. And so for me, I'm in a journey of where I'm like affirming little Tiona, because I've learned that little Tiona really has the key to the kingdom. Like she got the gems for real. Like she had the dreams like before there was like any full thought process. Like she was just dreaming just for the sake of dreaming. And maybe we get back to that place again, like we'll be able to figure out how to access what we're really looking for, like internally. So, and that can look different for everybody.
Sheesh, that's a Selah right there, girl. Wow, yeah, no, that's real. That's why I wanted you to kind of talk about that a little bit more, because I've never heard it put that way. So I love that. Yeah.
Hey.
Yes. I think just along the lines of what you stated, that the journey is for you too. And I think because I'm such a giver, which I think I love that about myself. I think that's something that got put in me. I enjoy giving, I enjoy helping, but sometimes I forget about me and that my journey too, which to the point that I'm actually planning this summer to kind of take a break from doing things for other people, not just cutting myself off, right? But some projects that I was involved in and some other stuff for other people, I'm kind of taking a step back and just letting myself have my own journey and really embracing that. So just telling my younger self that, hey, you know, you have your journey too, and making sure that you put you first, not in a selfish way, but just to respect yourself and, like you said, your dreams and stuff that you had too. So that's what I would tell myself.
Period.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Gosh, that went fast, didn't it? Okay. So thank you, Tiona, for coming on today. So happy you were able to drop all the gems. I'm gonna write some captions with that, get some slogans. I mean, no, some really good points there. Learning your authentic self, embracing your own journey, and just enjoy becoming who you are. So I think that's beautiful. So let the people know where they can follow you, so they can stay up on the things when you do start your blog and your YouTube channel. So
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is awkward. But you can follow me at Tiona Wilson on any social platforms. Pretty much like, not all of them, child.
Okay.
All of them. But whatever ones you type my name in and you find me, I'm there.
Goodbye. Okay.
And then tionawilson.com for the blog.
Okay.
For the blog.
Okay. And when
Tiona Wilson TV for YouTube.
when you think that's
Launching?
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yes.
So by the time they see it, they'll be okay.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. Well, that's all that we have today. So thank you for coming and joining in on Good Conversations with Brittany Charmaine with Tiona Wilson. Bye, guys.
Bye.